Hello everyone, this is Third Class Gaming here for more TF2 tips and tricks. This week we are going to be covering the Scout class for TF2. Sorry I haven't been uploading lately, there's been lots going on with school and the works. But don't worry, I'm back this time and I'm sure to make this a great video for you all. Just a reminder, this is for novice players only. If you are an advanced Scout player, then you probably will not find much use out of this tutorial. I'd recommend exiting this video and going and typing in advanced Scout tutorial in your search bar. You'll probably find something more suited to your needs. But until then, number 1. Scout tip number 1 is use your maneuverability to your advantage. This especially applies if you have the Babyface's blaster, which has been recently, and I mean a while ago, been updated so that if you jump you'll only lose like a quarter of your boost, which is not that horrible, especially since you should be jumping around someone you're shooting at. A lot of Scout players tend to forget that they have the ability to be way faster than everyone else. Mainly as in they will run up to someone, stand still, and try to shoot them down. This works sometimes if your enemy is at low health or caught off guard, but if they see you coming and you're just kind of walk up to them, stand still, they're gonna blow you away. I mean, Scout is one of the most lowest health classes in the game, especially if you're using stuff like the Sandman. And that's a very big problem for you if you're standing there in front of a soldier or something who could probably blast you away in 2 hits and not even kill himself from rocket blast damage. So remember, you can jump around someone even if you have the Babyface blaster nowadays. There's almost no weapon that will not benefit from you jumping around someone. Like, you could even use the Force of Nature to do more jumps. Or you could use like the Soda Popper, which I don't recommend personally using, but it still can be effective in some scenarios. Okay, moving on. Number 2. Tip number 2, this kind of pertains to our last tip about maneuverability and how you're faster than everyone else in most of the cases, but do not stand on top of or far away from someone and try to kill them with your pistol, especially if they're a heavy or a soldier. Only exception I could see is like a spy with the kunai. That's the only time you're really going to be able to kill someone unless they're at low health. As a Scout, you only have about, depending on if you're using like the default pistol, you only have 12 shots with 36 in reserve, and when you think about it, that's not a lot. It's not enough for you to really do enough damage to kill someone, especially since you're probably going to be missing all those shots. And if you're close enough not to miss any of those shots, you should be using your default scattergun, or your main weapon. I mean, if you know someone is at low health, it's okay for you to pull out your pistol and try to take them down, especially if they happen to be another Scout and they're trying to get away from you. Sometimes they're using the Babyface blaster, or they just got a big lead on you and you can't do enough damage with your scattergun. That's an okay scenario for you to pull out your pistol or do something else with that. But a better thing for you to be, in some cases, I mean, this is all case-by-case stuff. There is no one better weapon for every situation in TF2. I mean, I guess there are some direct upgrades, but as a general rule, there's no, direct upgrade in TF2. Moving on. Number 3. Tip number 3, choose your loadouts wisely. Scout is one of those classes in TF2, of which there are many, that choosing your loadout does make a huge, gigantic difference in how your class plays. Equipping a Babyface blaster, for example, will increase your run speed by a ton once you get sufficient damage on an enemy. And for example, if you have the Force of Nature, you can get more environmental kills, and you can have an extra double jump. Or you can combine the Force of Nature with the Automatizer and have 4 jumps. That's 4 jumps. You can almost get up to the high tower if you're playing on high tower with that, or maybe you can, I'm not exactly sure. But remember, choose your classes wisely, and I will refer you to my Scout loadouts video, in which you will find several classes that will help you get started with Scout. Moving on. Number 4. Tip number 4 is pick your targets wisely. You won't believe how many Scouts will run up to a heavy medic combo and try to take him out. I'm not kidding. Seriously, whenever I play heavy and I have a medic on me, one of my friends, I will always be run up to by a Scout and they will try to always kill us. And it's always someone who you can tell probably does not have a ton of experience playing Scout. And it's just one of those rookie things that people don't seem to realize, is that you're a Scout, you can do a lot of damage at close range, but you need to make sure you can pick your targets strategically in a fashion that you will not get instantly killed. Like, if let's say you're a scout and you saw a soldier take some damage earlier in the game. You know that soldier somehow has not been back to base or has not picked up a health kit. That's a good time for you to go in there and attack. Because then you know he has low health and you're probably going to be able to get in there, do a ton of damage, and get out before he even knows what hit him. And that is what Scout excels at a ton. Either doing hit and run attacks, or just going in, getting those meat shots, and running out. Moving on. Number 5. Tip number 5. Now, while this tip may seem a little bit lackluster compared to the other tips, it is still important for new scouts nonetheless to learn the teleporter order. As a scout, you have the ability not to hog the medic and not to use the teleporter, being as you are super duper fast like Quick Little Bunny. Now let's say you are a scout and you have low health. There's a medic nearby who's like healing a heavy who's also at low health. The medic ignores you, you get mad, and you start raging in the chat. Hopefully you don't do that, and mind you, this is a hypothetical situation in which probably no one will ever encounter, but nonetheless, this is my tips and tricks video, so I get to make these hypothetical situations for myself to use, and to use for example. Now, instead of raging in the chat and complaining to the medic that he's not healing you, you could have spent that time going out and finding a medium health kit, which should about bring you up to full health. Depending on what health you are. I mean, as scout, if you take anything but the smallest chip damage, you basically fall into little pieces on the ground. But regardless, you really don't need to be taking up the medic's time or doing anything else besides killing people or finding a health pack. And with the teleporter order thing, as a scout, you have the ability to probably run past the teleporter in the time it takes you to push someone off the teleporter and get on for yourself. You have the time to run to where you're going. That goes the same with soldiers too, even though this is a scout tip and tricks video. With soldier, you should be able to rocket jump all the way to where you need to go without using the teleporter. It is much more important for the engineer or for a heavy to get on that teleporter, or most importantly a medic to get on that teleporter, get to the front lines, than it is for you to get to the front lines and do damage is what you're going to do, but a medic could save your heavy. And if you don't have a heavy, a scout will not stop an advancing force, I guess you could call it. I don't know what to call a mob of people in TF2, because in reality, I guess it isn't really a force. It's Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, go ahead and leave a rating down below, comment, and subscribe so that you do not miss when I put out another one of these most wonderful, wonderful TF2 tip videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.